So keep in mind that you have to justify only if the particular statement is false only, right? Okay. So the third question, or question number 3, is consists of short answer questions, right? So you have to write the answers in the space provided. So that's only you have to do. So your paper would be consist of these things, and you have to answer all the questions, right? Okay, so we'll go to the question. So here's your answer sheet for the MCQ questions. So you have to put a cross, right? Don't forget, you have to put a cross for the most appropriate answer for the particular MCQ questions, right? Okay, so we go one by one and check. So here, choose the most correct answer to each question and mark this answer with a cross on the given answer sheet, right? So you have seen these cages. So if you think that, for example, if A is the answer, then you need to put a cross like this in front of A, right? You need to put a cross, huh? Don't forget. Okay. So we'll go and check the first MCQ. Yes, so the central processing unit is considered as the blank of the computer. So you have to select the most appropriate answer. Then what do you feel is the best answer? Heart, answer B, brain, answer C, memory, answer C, liveware, and E, senses. Can you please mute your microphones? Is it Sifani? How do you pronounce the name? Please mute your microphones. It's really a disturbance for the rest of the class. So please. Okay, so what would you think is the answer, students? Can one of you answer? What do you usually consider the central processing unit?
Brain.
Good, brain, right? So that could be answer B. That is brain, right? I'm always muting this student, but she's always unmuting. I don't know what she's doing. Shifani MS. Can you please mute your microphone? I will speak her for this all the time, but she's always making it unmute. I don't know what she's doing. Okay, so we consider the CPU as the brain of the computer, right? Without CPU, we cannot that means we cannot do anything. We cannot process without the central processing unit. So we consider that to be the brain of the computer, right? So which of the following are the main components of a computer? So hardware, software, tablet, data, and software, hardware, data, liveware, hardware, software, tablet, netbook, monitor, liveware, hardware, tablet, monitor, data, hardware, netbook, monitor. So what do you think is the answer, students? Which of the following are the main components?
Answer B.
Answer B, good. Because we know that we need to have software, hardware, data, and liveware. I told you that liveware are us. That means the users, right? It could be you and I together, right? So we are the users. So computers should have a user, otherwise they will be of no use, right? So when it comes to the main components of a computer, software should be there because all the programs and other things are there, and hardware should be there because all the tangible things are included in hardware, and data should be there because if we are dealing with the computer, we need to have data, right? So, and at the end, liveware or the user should be there to use the computers, otherwise that would be of no use, right? Okay, so we know that the answer is B, right? Then third question, the computers that can be worn on the body are known as liveware, personal computers, processing devices, memory devices, and wearable computers. So what do you think is the answer? The computers that can be worn on the body.
Wearable computers.
Good, wearable computers, right? We have seen some in chapter 1 or session 1 or session 2, as I think, yeah, in between the first two sessions, we discussed that there are types of computers, right? So under that, we discuss about wearable computers, right? So we can wear them on our body, right? It could be kind of a watch or kind of something which we can wear for the forehead or something like that, right? So those are wearable computers, right? And a structure is given below. So we know that this is the architecture. And what is missing here? What you have to do is select the suitable answer for the pointed area in the figure given below. So we know that this is the main memory and this is input output is there. And inside the central processing unit or the CPU, there should be two. One is control unit and the other one is what? I told you that all the mathematical and those logical parts are carried out in this unit. What is the answer? Usually the central processing unit is consisted of two.
The arithmetic and logic unit.
Yes, good. Arithmetic and logic unit. Answer C, right? So our central processing unit is consisted of two. The first one is control unit and the other one is arithmetic and logic unit, right? So you have to mark answer C. Then what are the four main categories which computer hardware is typically divided? So read these answers, please. And find out the answer. I'll give you a couple of seconds.
A, ma'am. A.
A, madam.
Processing, input and output, storage, memory.
Okay, what do you think is the answer, students?
Answer A.
Number A, miss. Best answer A.
Okay, others? Any other answers apart from A?
Oh, Miss A.
Okay. That's the answer, because we know that we discussed about categories, right? So computer hardware can be typically divided into 4, right? So the first one is processing, input, output, storage, and memory. Those are the 4 actually. So compiler, that won't be a main category, right? That won't be a computer hardware category, right? So that is what we use for translation processes, and processing is correct, input output is correct, storage is correct, but because of compiler we cannot get the answer B as the answer, right? So storage is correct, compiler is also not there, interpreter, so compiler, interpreter both comes in the translation process, right? So these cannot be identified as a category, right? It won't come under a category, so you cannot get that answer as well. And then assembler also is not, compiler is also not, so interpreter also we cannot get, but storage is there, but it won't be the correct answer. And processing, input, output, storage is there, but assembler won't come into these 4, right? So the answer is A, processing, input, output, storage, and memory, right? So here there are some ports, so you have to be familiar with these ports, right? So in your course material you have a photograph of the particular ports, right? So refer those, and then there of course they have given the particular port and the particular device that we can connect to this particular port, right? So here they have given 3 ports mentioned as A, B, C, and then you have to name them, right? What would be the answer?
D. Answer D, miss.
D.
Answer E.
Answer E.
Oh,
Answer E or answer D. Okay, we'll check one by one, right? So here we go to the course material and check, because this gonna be answer D is the answer, right? It's a parallel port, and then the second one is a PS2 port, and the third one is a VGA port, or C is a VGA port, right? So this is a parallel port, this is a PS2 port, and this is a VGA port. So in your course material, I think that's in the first section, right? So usually parallel port is used to connect parallel devices like printers, right? So here it can have up to 25 connections, and so serial port is another port, right? So don't confuse. So you have to be familiar with these ports, right? Wait, I'll show you. Anyone who found out the page number of the particular image? I forgot to jot.
30, 33, 34, ma'am.
34, right? Thank you.
33 and 34.
Okay. See here, it's a PS2 port, right? In ancient, not ancient times actually, recent history, actually, keyboards and mouse were using these kind of ports, right? So we need these kind of cables. So we need to have these kind of PS2 ports to connect mouse and keyboard some time ago, right? But now all these ports are USB, so we don't need to have a PS2 port. We can directly connect it with the USB port, right? But this is a PS2 port, so where from the green you can connect the mouse, and for the purple one you can connect the keyboard, right? So that is a PS2 port. And here, don't get confused, this is a parallel port, right? It's a kind of bigger, right? It's a little bit lengthier than the other ports. So it's a parallel port. So you can remember that with the color itself, it has a color, right? And the VGA port is in blue usually. So that is used to connect the monitor, right? So here, this is the parallel port. So it's usually in pinkish or some purple color, right? So there are 25 connectors. You can check, you can count, see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, likewise there are 25, right? So this is a parallel port, and then the other port is a VGA, right? So from the VGA port only we can connect the monitor, right? So don't get confused, it's a parallel port. A is a parallel port, right? And then B is a PS2 port and C is a VGA port, right? So if you get confused at the exam, you have to keep, you won't forget this port, right? Because PS2 ports are unique. It's not getting, that means we won't be able to misidentify that one. It's a clear port, so it's a distinguishable, right? It's a clear port, so you can filter the answer even by looking at the answers given here. So we know that B won't be a VGA port and a serial port, but it would be a PS2 port. So we can omit the first three answers and we have the problem with the last two answers, right? Then here, one thing you can keep in your mind is that parallel ports usually have 25 connections, right? So you can keep that in your mind, and then you can guess the answer. This could be a parallel port, and then, or you can keep in the mind that VGA would be always in blue, right? So that could be a VGA port. Likewise, you can use some techniques, right? So from the answer B, sorry, from the image B, we can omit all the first three answers, right? So use some tactics when you are using or when you are finding out the answer. Are you clear, students?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so the answer is D, right? Okay, so the other one. Mouse, web camera, scanner, and barcode. Sorry, barcode readers are answer A, memory devices, answer B, output devices, answer C, input devices, answer D, storage, answer E, display devices. What do you feel? Do you find out to be the answer, students?
D.
Answer
Input
C,
device.
input device.
Yes. Mouse. So from mouse, we usually input data, right? We click, right? And from web camera, usually that takes our image. So we input our, that means if we are in a conference, then through the webcam, our image is taken, right? Or captured. Then scanner also, we know that if we put some document, then those are scanned to the computer or to the print. If your printer is working as a scanner, that stores, right? And barcode reader means when you are going to a shopping mall, or if you are, at least now even the supermarkets have that. So when you have the barcode, you just simply get it near the barcode reader, and that is inputted, right? So those are input devices. Those are not storage devices, right? So keep in your mind, these are input devices. We clearly discussed about the input output devices and what are the storage devices, right? So don't get confused. Answer is C, right? Are you clear, students? Am I audible? Am I audible, students?
Yes, miss.
Okay, fine. So the answer is C, right?
Oh, miss, yes.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you properly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
Yes,
Then-
ma'am.
Okay.
Miss, output device. Please tell me.
Output devices, of course, there are plenty of, right? Monitor is an output device, right?
Okay.
So those kind of devices are that means works as output devices, right? Our headphones and printers, speakers, projectors, those are output devices, right? They
Okay.
output
Okay.
something.
Thank you, madam.
Input means we input something to the computer. Keyboard, mouse, those are input devices, right? Output means we can see something, or we can get a print of something, or we can hear something, right? So that's why monitors, speakers, printers, headphones, and projectors, those are basically considered to be output devices, right? Okay. We move to the next one. That is number 8. Blank consists of the programs that control the operations of the
Okay.
computer and its devices. Yes. What are the, that means, how would you call the programs that control the operations of the computer and its devices? Is it system software, application software, interpreter, assembler, or
System
invoicing
software.
system? Yes. Others? Others, what do you think as the answer? Am I audible, students? I doubt whether my voice is clear or...
A.
Yes, good. Others? Miss Shifani, can you please mute your microphone? You've been unmuting several times. It's really a
Yes, ma'am.
disturbance for the others. Can someone please inform her? I don't know what she's doing. It's totally distracting. Okay, fine. So we know that system software consists of programs that control the operations of the computer, right? Application software is something else, right? Application software. So we discussed about software and hardware in our study material or the course material. So there we divided them, right? Like this. System software and application software, right? So system software, under the system software, operating systems, utility software, library programs, and programming language translators are there, right? So we know that to work, that means to progress or to process our computer, we need to have system software, right? And to there are some application software as well. Sifani, right? I don't know whether I pronounce the name properly. Sifani, can you please mute your microphone? Yes. Is there anyone who's a friend of Sifani? Can you please drop her message informing that her microphone is unmuting several times and it's really a disturbance for the others as well? Can someone please send her a message if one of her friends is there? Okay, fine. So application software is something else, and we know that system software is in charge of controlling the operations of the computer and its devices, right? So the answer is A. Are you clear, students? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So we'll move to the next one. That's number 9. Blank are hardware components that allow you to enter data, programs, commands,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
user responses into a computer. What do you think as the answer, students?
Voice again.
What do you think the
System
answer
software.
for 9? What do you think the answer for the 9th question, students?
Answer B. Input devices.
Good. Input devices, right? So you can see that the same question is asked in 2 different ways. We discussed the same question in the above, same answer in the above question as well, right? There they have asked the question in another way, and here they have asked the question in another different way, but the same answer, right? So you have to be very vigilant and careful when figuring out the answers. We know that if you want to enter data or programs or commands or any user responses to a computer, we have to have input devices, right? So what is the difference between memory and storage, students? Anyone?
RAM, ROM.
Yeah, what I was asking means, can you distinguish memory and storage devices? Anyone? Am I audible, students?
Short term, long term.
No. You're answering correct, but the question that I'm asking is totally different, right? What I asked was that what is the difference between memory and storage, right? So memory holds data and instructions temporarily, right? While they are being processed by the CPU. But when it comes to storage, then storage means they hold something. They hold items such as data, instruction, information for future use, right? So that is the difference between memory and storage. Don't mix it up, right? Memory devices and storage devices are 2. Okay. So what do you think the answer for the 10th question? Which one of the following is an approach of program translation?
Interpreter.
Answer B. Interpreter.
The others?
Answer B. Answer B.
Answer B, right? Yes.
B.
So that's interpreter, right? So here we discussed about that translators, right? Assembler, interpreter, and compilers, right? So what assembler does is it translates the symbolic code of the program of an assembly language into machine language instructions, right? That is what assembler does. And when it comes to interpreters, they read the program line by line, right? It directly executes the program from its source code. And when it comes to compilers, they are translators which translate all instructions of the program into machine codes, right? So when it comes to program translations, usually assembler, interpreter, and compilers are the answers. So out of those three, only interpreter is there. The others are some sort of the other, that means which are not relevant to this particular question. So interpreter is the answer for the 10th question. That is B. Are you clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what is the answer for the 11th one?
LAN,
Others?
LAN,
One thing is better than when you saw your previous dad stick in the tree. And hope you do this. It's somewhere around 50 GB. The second hit the shit was key to delete the file from the computer.
Yes, that is LAN, right? That is local area network. We know that that is the smallest, right? That is confined to a building or a university. So we discussed these things under the topology, right? When it comes to network, according to the physical layout or the geographical layout, then we can divide these into 3 or 4, right? So LAN is considered to be the network which is confined to a building or a university, right? Then what the SYNTEC stands for, students? Question number 12. SYNTEC.
Computer and Information Technology Council.
Yeah, that is given in the book itself, right? So that is that was established in 1984, right, to function directly under the president, and later it was renamed as Council for Information Technology or something like that. Yeah, Council for Information Technology, right? So it's about SYNTEC. Then what is the answer for question number 13, students?
Fever,
Others?
B. Viral discomfort,
It's not viral, it's visual discomfort, right?
C
Yeah,
C1.
yeah, good. Answer is C, right? That is fever, because which of the following is not? So remember, you might have tricky questions like this, right? Which is not a potential. So if you have a question like this, please highlight this not part, right? Then only you can have the idea, or your eye will catch out the first, that means the most appropriate answer, because we people being tend to, that means our eyesight is very familiar with the usual terms, right? So when it comes to note, unselection or something, those negative sides, usually our eye won't catch, right? So if you have this kind of a question, please mark these, if there's some highlighting points, please highlight them, right, before selecting the answer. So we know that physical discomfort, pain, injury, visual discomfort is there. Visual discomfort means if we are staring at the screen for a long time, then we have a visual discomfort. Stress, fatigue, so these things are usually the potential health issues that we have when we are working with computer, and fever is not such a health issue, right? Okay, so SMTP, what is the expanded term for SMTP, students? What is SMTP refers to? Anyone?
email, B.
No, I'm asking what is SMTP? I need the expanded form of SMTP. SMTP is an abbreviation for what?
Answer D.
I'm asking what is the, one of, that should be Chamika or Chamika, I don't know. Yeah, Chamika or Chamika. Yeah, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So SMTP is the abbreviation for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, students. That's what I was asking from you. And the answer for this one, we'll read one by one. SMTP or Simple Mail Transfer Protocol is used. Answer A, used by email clients to retrieve email from a remote server. No, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol does not do that. Usually POP or IMAP are the protocols which are in charge for those kind of things. And when it comes to answer B, a protocol for sending email messages between servers, we leave that. And answer C, a protocol which defines how messages are formatted and transmitted. So that is done by HTTP or hypertext. Yeah, that would be done by HTTP actually. Hypertext transfer. No, I'm getting mixed up now with the answers. Hypertext transfer protocol, right? Yeah, that is HTTP. And then D, a protocol that enables people to use the internet as the transmission medium for telephone calls, that is VoIP, that is voice over internet protocol. And then used by local email clients to retrieve email from a remote server over a TCP IP connection. So here, the first one and E, that is A and E, look similar, right? That looks very similar, but only the difference is that remote server over a TCP IP connection. So that is the difference there. So POP3 is the answer for E, right? But for question number 14, the answer is B. As most of you highlighted, the answer is B because it's a protocol for sending email messages between servers, right? So we have discussed those things and there's a chart in your course material as well. So you have to refer those, right? These kind of questions will be there for your final exam as well. Okay, so what do you refer to IP? What do you mean by an IP address? What is the answer, students?
Internet protocol.
Good.
Ma'am, can you explain 14th one again?
14th one again, right? You have to refer. There's in the course material, you have a section. I think there's a table. I cannot remember the page number, but you can refer the page number. There's a table, right? Then all the protocols are there and their abbreviations are there and the expanded form is also there and the usage is there, right? So usually email clients to retrieve email from a remote server is done by POP, right? Post Office Protocol or IMAP, right? And a protocol which defines how messages are formatted and transmitted. So that is done by HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, right? And D, a protocol that enables people to use the internet as the transmission medium for telephone call is VoIP, that is Voice over Internet Protocol. And used by local email clients to retrieve email from a remote server over a TCP IP connection is usually POP3, right?